Hare Krishna. Welcome you all for our e-Gurukula sessions, and today is a Tuesday. There is a story session, and as we have scheduled, we'll continue our Mahabharata story discussion, Mahabharata readings. Okay, so let us begin with the prayers. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Gavita Shri Vishakhanutam Shra Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavade Paschatya Shatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratyushe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadigaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So let us study this Mahabharata characters and the discussion about the similars. So last week we were reading. I'll just show you that picture form also. I got it here now. Copy. Just share for all of you. Yes. Now. You all are able to see here on the screen Mahabharata. Is it visible?
Yes, Prabhuji, Mahabharata.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So can someone guess who are these two personalities?
Prabhuji,
Ganesha and
Yeah.
Vyasadev.
Yeah, devotee Ganesha and thus is Vyasa. So Vyasadev narrated and Ganesha, Lord Ganesha is written. So this is a nice chart. We got it. Who is who and what is their connection and from who is born. So like that, then it will be easy, I think, to understand. So last week we read about Ambika and Ambalika, correct? So Amba, Ambika and Ambalika, three sisters are there. But Amba's episode comes differently. So that's what that is not counted in this connection. Especially Amba's episode we'll study later. But Ambika and Ambalika, something was coming in this connection. That's what it last week we read in the beginning about Ambika and Ambalika. So now here, Shantanu, the king Shantanu, last week if you remember we read, Shantanu wanted to marry Satyavati. But what happens? What was the condition Satyavati's father puts? Anyone remember?
Prabhuji, like
Satyavati's son will become the king.
Yeah, Satyavati means she was a daughter of a fisherman. So the king of fisherman, I mean, her father says that Satyavati's son should become the king. But already Bhishma was there. So that's what if you see Shantanu, it is written in the middle. Shantanu had already Bhishma as a son. So then Shantanu says, all right, I promise you that Satyavati's son will become the king.
Prabhuji, shall I say Prabhuji?
Yeah. What you're asking?
Prabhuji, shall I say?
No. Just here, no problem. So Shantanu,
Okay, Prabhuji.
Satyavati's father, he says, no, I cannot trust. Right, but that's what, knowing the condition of his father, Bhishma's father, that is Shantanu Maharaj, then Bhishma takes a vow. What vow Bhishma takes? For which the Devatas.
I will never marry again.
Yeah. Again means not means he was not married. I will never.
I will never marry.
I will never marry. I will remain as a brahmachari. So, and that's what many Devatas and they shower flowers and then they give the sound from the sky, Bhishma. So that's what he gets the name Bhishma, because it's not an easy vow for a Kshatriya to remain unmarried. It's not an easy thing. So that's what we see. Nowadays also it's not easy. So that's what that time, especially Kshatriyas and all those who rules and all, it's not easy. So, but Bhishma took a vow. And that's what finally Satyavati got married. Right? So that's what. But then Shantanu Maharaj, through Satyavati, got the sons. That is Vichitra Virya and Chitrangada. Am I correct, Jashit Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So Chitrangada and Vichitra Virya are the sons of Satyavati and Shantanu, correct?
Yes, Prabhuji.
And Bhishma was also their brother, because father was common, but mother is different. Correct, na? Hey.
Like stepmother.
Yeah. So are you all getting now? So Shantanu Maharaj, here through Mother Ganga, he gets the Bhishma, but through Satyavati, he gets Chitrangada and Vichitra Virya. Okay. But now last time we read what happened to Vichitra Virya. Anyone remember?
Prabhuji, he will
Prabhuji,
die.
he died.
He dies. That's what Ambika and Ambalika are now remain without any husband. So that's what we read up to last week. Okay. So of course the further pictures and things are there, but now we'll not get into the details.
Prabhuji?
Yeah, yes.
Prabhuji, in the chat, Prabhuji, once can you scroll up, Prabhuji, to Vidur?
I'm not able to understand you clearly. What you're asking?
Prabhuji, can you take it to Vidur's name, Prabhuji, once the presentation?
I think, yeah, someone can help me. Whatever Prabhu is telling, Shikhar Prabhu is telling.
Prabhuji, actually,
What's it the word Vidur to take? Prabhuji, he is telling to take.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, after Ambika made
No.
Vidur is there,
No.
Prabhuji.
Don't go ahead. Don't go ahead. We are just now up to Vichitra Virya died. So let's see what happens afterwards. We are not yet come ahead. Okay. Just don't see ahead and don't think also ahead. We read up to this. Now let's see today's further discussion. Okay. Yeah. So are you all able to see the Veda-based screen, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
Prabhuji.
Yeah, yes. So now let's begin. So yeah. And then something else had happened during that time. That some sage suddenly enters into the room of Ambika.
Vyasa, Prabhuji.
No. That is not mentioned. Who is he? Let's see how he enters and what happens. Yeah, somebody knocked the door and Ambika looked up shyly. And the man entered inside. So that part we'll read. We don't know. That is not disclosed yet. So let's see. Last time we stopped up.
Prabhuji, that's Bhishma only, Prabhuji.
Okay. Let's see. Who is he? Not we don't know. Let's read further. Yeah.
We stopped at Bhishma.
Yeah. From this day, his name shall be Bhishma, one of a terrible vow. So that's what we stopped. From the heavens they spoke, right? Now we'll continue. Satyavati looked at Bhishma now as he sat respectfully before her. She spoke his name and he looked up, ready to execute her command. Maybe she could yet convince him. So what was convincing part was going on? Anyone knows?
We already read it.
Yeah, Bhishma, Satyavati was trying to request Bhishma, you marry. So that was a discussion over. But Bhishma had taken a vow, I will not marry. He had always been obedient to her. Even more, no since Shantanu's death. So this means that Shantanu has already died here, it seems. So let's see how it goes. My dear Bhishma, please think again. The queen said, as she pulled her fine silk sari over her plaited hair. You made your vow simply to secure the interests of your father and me. I now absolve you of that vow. So she's trying to give a logic that because of me only you made a vow. Now I am only telling you that you can no need to worry about those things. You can go ahead with your marriage. You have always been fixed in a virtue. Please consider our present situation. Just as you made your vow to serve your elders, you should now serve them by acting for the welfare of our line. So what do you mean by our line? Anyone understanding?
Prabhuji, for our marriage and the religion.
Yeah, means basically now there is nobody is there to continue the dynasty because Shantanu died, Vichitra died, and now all the wives are widows, and practically only Bhishma.
Chitrangada is left, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Chitrangadha has not been mentioned here. What happens to the Chitrangadha? Let's.
He will also die.
Oh, he also dies. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji, by a Gandharva.
Okay. Yeah. So surely this is your duty. Ascend Hastinapura's throne and beget powerful sons to secure this ancient kingdom's future. So now you take up the kingship and beget the children and continue the dynasty. Bhishma shook his head in exasperation. Mother, please do not ask me to stray from the path of truth. It can never be as you suggest. The sun may renounce its splendor. I think this also we read last time. Water its weightness, and the sky its sound, but Bhishma will never renounce the truth. So Bhishma is telling sun may stop giving the light, water may forget its property of becoming a weight, and sky may forget to have an ability to resound the sound, but Bhishma will never stop from his vow. So we can learn this very good principle, how to remain determined our vows, and especially Krishna conscious vows. So Bhishma is great for knowing for that. Bhishma asked Satyavati to consider the deeper cause of the unexpected emergency facing the kingdom. It was due to all-powerful destiny. How else could it have come to pass that although Satyavati had born two powerful sons, both had died? Oh, here it comes. Both had died. Miss Chitrangadha and Vichitra, both have died without producing an heir to the throne. So basically, he's putting a point. How can it happen? Both have died without giving this. That means there is a plan of destiny, something. We cannot just make a reason and then do something on our own. So destiny have its own plan to unfold. So don't create any problem. Yeah, all the kings on the earth had paid tribute to Satyavati's eldest son, Chitrangadha. So here it is mentioned about Chitrangadha now. His reputation for prowess in battle and unwavering virtue had reached the heavens. Means he was so powerful, even the heavens were glorifying him. It was thus that the mighty king of the Gandharvas, who bore the same name, became envious upon hearing his glories. So here is the cause. How Chitrangadha, what happened to Chitrangadha? So there was one more personality in the heavens who was a king of Gandharvas. His name was also Chitrangadha. So then he became envious. How can that person on the earth have a same name and he become more famous than me? My own name is there like that. So that's what the jealous Gandharva could not allow another famous and powerful Chitrangadha to live. He came to earth and challenged his rival to battle. So that's what I think Jashit Pro mentioned. Gandharva comes and fights. Here, correct? Haribol?
Yes, Prabhuji.
After years of fighting, the valorous son of Satyavati was slain. So that means fight going for years. Anyone remember in Bhagavatam? There is also
Prabhuji, Jambavan, Prabhuji.
Jambavan fight was not for years. It was for 28 days. Yeah.
Those are 28 days. No, but 21 days.
28 days. Yeah, 21 or 28 days it is. Yeah. Years. One fight was going on for years. Who remembers? Bhagavatam we read.
Prabhuji, I remember, but I forgot which one, Prabhuji. I remember there was a fight.
Yeah. So there was a fight between Gajendra with whom he was fighting.
Crocodile, Prabhuji.
Yeah, crocodile. So that is mentioned. 1,000 celestial.
The crocodile liver.
Yeah, anyway, name is yeah, whatever, but the point is their fight also. So here also fight went for thousands of years, and then finally the Chitrangadha died, who was on the earth, and the proud Gandharva returned triumphant to the heavens. So because he could not bear that another name become more famous than me and all. So that's what Chitrangadha had died. Now let's see. Then the powerful Vichitravirya ascended the throne, but suddenly died from an illness after only 7 years of ruling. Neither he nor his brother left a child. So that means there is some plan of the destiny. So Vichitravirya died because of some disease. He ruled only for 7 years. Generally, they used to rule for hundreds of years. But 7 years is very, very less. Here, prime minister in country, they stay for 5 years. That is glorious for them. But there they ruled so long. So Bhishma stood up and looked out of the latticed window. A full moon illuminated the palace gardens, casting a silver light across the broad sandstone paths where Vichitravirya had loved to walk on with his queens. So who are the queens of Vichitravirya? All of you remember now?
Ambika and Ambalika.
And Ambalika, correct. So no, good. So
Prabhuji, then who are the wives of Chitrangadha?
Satyavati.
Prabhuji has no wife. Prabhuji.
yeah, no wife, no wife. That's what there is no mention. If you remember, yeah, on that chart we saw, na, you are able to see this chart, right? You are
Yes,
seeing,
Prabhuji.
yeah. So along with Chitrangadha, there is nobody, but along with Vichitravirya, we see Ambika and Ambalika. Okay, so that's what it is there. Okay, so now let's see how it further description. Yeah, he turned back to Satyavati and continued. Who turned back to Satyavati?
Bhishma.
Bhishma. Mother, we cannot thwart providence by acting immorally. So what is that immorality Bhishma is talking about? All of your understanding?
Prabhuji like fur.
Huh?
Prabhuji means like without a cause it will not act.
No. What is that immorality Bhishma is considering?
Prabhuji means like marrying.
Yes, Satyavati is
That
telling him to
vow,
marry, and
breaking
Bhishma,
that vow,
yeah,
Prabhuji.
Bhishma had taken vow that I will not marry. So how can I break my vow and act immorally? Because for a Kshatriya, once he gives a word, then he will walk the path, walk your talk. You know, they're saying walk your talk. Sometimes we also give promise to somebody, but then we don't keep it the words. But no, once we give our words, Kshatriya, they will die, but they will never break from their promise. So that's what in our ISKCON society also, when we take an initiation from a spiritual master, we also take a vow that I will chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra every day. Because once we take initiation, then we should promise that. And then I'll follow 4 regulative principles. All of you know 4 regulative principles?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. No, you will be surely knowing. Whatever all other friends who all are.
Prabhuji, no meat eating, no gambling.
Yeah. Other? Shri Harsha Prabhu.
Prabhuji no gambling.
Yeah.
No intoxication, no illicit sex.
No intoxication and no illicit sex. So anyway, so once we take a vow, then one should follow. So ideally, these things are not to be taken a vow. This thing should be followed, obviously, because we are humans. So anyway, we learned from Bhishma this great principle of following our vows. In all circumstances, a virtuous man acts in obedience to the will of God. Auspiciousness and victory always attend virtue, while grief is the sure result of unrighteousness. So it may look like, let's say, let's go ahead, what's the wrong, you marry and continue. So then result will be grief. Whereas you follow the path of virtues and principles of providence and things, then surely it will bring out auspiciousness and victory. Therefore, please do not ask me to abandon my vow. Satyavati sat silently. Bhishma's adherence to the truth and the virtue was unshakable. He had spoken well. She bowed her head as he went on. In any event, mother, it seems destiny has provided us with a solution quite in keeping with religion. If the illustrious Vyasadeva produces offspring upon the queens, we shall be saved. Let us pray that everything goes well. So now here the entry comes of the Vyasadeva. Now how Vyasadeva is connected here, let's see. The description might be given. Satyavati nodded. It was she who had summoned the powerful Rishi Vyasadeva, her firstborn son. That means what? Vyasadeva is a son of
Satyavati and Parashara.
Here you are able to see the picture. All of you are able to see.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, so here it is comes. Now it is clear, right? Satyavati, Parashar. All of us we know. Great sage Parashar. What is the contribution of Parashar? Prabhupada quotes many times.
Prabhuji,
He
he
gave the definition of Bhagavan,
definition
Prabhuji.
of God.
Yeah, he gave the famous definition of Bhagavan. Aishwaryasya samagrasya, those 6 opulences. So he's a father of Vedavyas. Now, now all of you are getting, right? Bhishma and Vedavyas looks like a kind of a brotherly level only. Are you all getting? Are you all understanding?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, because
Yes, Prabhuji.
with Vedavyas, mother is there, whose husband is the father of Bhishma. So in that sense, they're like a brotherly level only. Now Satyavati was requesting Bhishma, but then Bhishma said no. But then now the choice remains with the Vedavyas. So that's what Bhishma says, let's see if Vedavyas can make it. Now let's see how it goes ahead. Yeah. It has taken some courage for her to reveal how she had given birth to that sage, even in her maidenhood. Now, how Vedavyasa's birth happened, that is also very interesting. I mean, in the sense, she did not want to tell to everyone. That's what it is written. It took for her some courage. Out of fear of public censure, she had hidden this fact for years. But she still remembered how the celestial Rishi Parashar had one day come onto her boat and begotten the great sage Vyasadeva in her womb. Parashar had told her that Providence had destined her for greatness. He was giving an illustrious son who would play an important part in that great destiny. Parashar had then granted her the boon of keeping her maidenhood even after union with him. So that is called as virgin. She was to be continued to be as a virgin, because if a woman is touched by another man, then nobody will accept her. Which episode we read in Krishna book? Anyone remember? 2-3 episodes.
Baumasur,
Prabhuji, one of them is
Baumasur one.
Baumasura, correct. 16,000 wives were kidnapped. And then they, then they request that, oh Lord, now you are living, but we are touched by this man. Who will accept us? Now you accept. One more episode. Many are there.
Anuradha one.
Who?
Prabhuji, Anuradha and Usha. Means they will not be married.
Yeah, there also. I was remembering Lakshmana, who was a daughter of. Anyone remember? Samba goes and kidnaps Lakshmana. Lakshmana was a daughter of Duryodhana, correct? All of you remember? So there also they become. So anyway, the point is what? If the woman is touched by another man, then nobody will accept. But then Parashar, knowing the future, what is going to happen and things.
Prabhuji?
Yeah.
Did you say Lakshmana, Prabhuji?
Lakshmana, yes.
But Lakshmana is from Ramayana, no?
there's a different
Prabhuji,
Lakshmana.
No, that is Lakshman. That is Lakshman. This is Lakshmana. Yeah, Lakshmana.
Prabhuji, and Lakshmana is even one of the wife of Krishna.
Yes. I was remembering that also. Krishna is one of the wife name, prominent wife, 8 wives. So anyway, here Parashar, knowing the plan of what's going to unfold in the future, he came and he united with the Satyavati and begot the sage Vyasadeva. But then he had given a promise that you will remain a virgin. That's what it is mentioned. Benediction he gave. And it was he who had blessed her with the celestial fragrance which had captivated Shantanu. So Shantanu got attracted in the forest towards Satyavati. Why? Because her bodily fragrance was very, very attractive to Shantanu. So that was coming from Parashara. Sage Parashara had given her. So Vyasadeva, great Maharshi, great, even the Lord personally, is none other than Lord only, right? Literary incarnation, Sahityika avatar, is called as Vyasadeva. Now let's see. Satyavati slowly paced the mosaic floor. Hundreds of golden oil lamps lit up the great hall. So those days there are no tube lights, okay? There are oil lamps. This oil is not like our ordinary kerosene oil or something. So the golden oil lamps lit up the great hall. Along the high walls hung fine paintings of her ancestors, going all the way back to the mighty King Kuru. All of them had been powerful emperors of the globe. Surely the Kuru dynasty would not end now, the queen said. I have been praying for the kingdom ever since my son's demise. I have faith that Vyasadeva will prove a shelter to us all. But seeing the adverse fate afflicting to us, I still cannot help but be fearful. Satyavati felt deeply for the kingdom and for Shantanu's line. She still acted out of her love for the departed monarch. It was certainly providential that Parashar had given her Vyasadeva as her son. Vyasadeva, now she understood, right? Parashar begetting a Vyasadeva through her, now she understood how is a plan of a providence it is. Knowing that Shantanu will die, Vichitra, Vidya and Chitrangadha all will die. Now Vyasadeva will come to the help. Vyasadeva had grown to maturity immediately upon his birth, right? Immediately, not like it took some time for, after 18 years, he became 18 years. No, as soon as he was born, immediately he grew up and had left her saying, dear mother, should you ever be in difficulty, then simply think of me. I shall come to you at once from wherever I may be. So Vyasadeva had left the mother immediately. And then he said that, yes, oh mother, whenever you are in difficulty, just remember me. As soon as you remember me, I'll immediately come wherever I may be present. No need of phone call or WhatsApps or mails. As Bhishma and Satyavati spoke, Ambika's door opened and Vyasadeva came out. Bhishma bowed at his feet and Satyavati anxiously asked, will the princess bear an accomplished son? So that means now all of you understood somebody entered into the door of Ambika. All of you remember
Yes,
last
Prabhuji.
time?
Yes, Prabhuji.
I'll show you once again if you're not remembering. So here that paragraph had left undiscussed. So now this becomes very clear. Yeah, the door knocked. Ambika looked up shyly. The door opened. The tall man entered. Right, and this was not a Bhishma, but who was he? His teeth were only slightly less black than his complexion and all. His name is not mentioned here. Right?
Yes.
Are you all getting Lakshitru? You're understanding?
Yes, Prabhuji. But the description.
Yeah. So she prayed for the God that she might lose consciousness for how she endured this fearful man's touch. So this fearful man means because he is a sage, he was not like a kind of a king, very bright and powerful and things and all, but he was a sage. Sage means he had a long beard and things and all. So she was doubtful who this man entered in my room. So he was none other than Vyasadeva. And after union with Ambika, then Satyavati asks from Vyasa, how is going to come? Will the princess bear a son? Raising his hand in blessing as Bhishma stood up, the sage replied to Satyavati, the queen will bear a son who will be as strong as 10,000 elephants. He will be vastly intelligent, wise, and prosperous. He will have 100 sons. But, O pious lady, for the fault of his mother, he will be born blind. So don't speak. I'll ask our other friends who are reading first time. Who is the person? Who is born here? Anyone understood?
I'm thinking Shastra.
Acha, okay. Let's see. So now here Vyasadeva gave some amazing warning. He gave a very good benediction that queen will bear a son who will be as strong as 10,000 elephants. He will be vastly intelligent, wise, and prosperous. He will have 100 sons. Means already they had a problem of begetting a son. Now through Ambika, they are going to get a son who will have 100 sons in return. But, O pious lady, for the fault of his mother, he will be born blind. So Satyavati was shocked. How can one who is a blind become a king of the Kuru race? She asked. Now, who is he and what happens and how he comes? That all discussion will take in the next meeting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this Mahabharata entry. Yeah,
Is
just
he
a minute.
Dhritarashtra only?
That is a secret. All of you join for the next week. We'll tell you. Yeah. So the point is, remember these characters, remember these episodes, so that it becomes very easy for all of us to understand these details. And many things are there. Slowly we'll build up. We don't want to go in a hurry. But just to revise shortly, I will once again say, right? We read about Shantanu Maharaj marrying with Satyavati, and with the condition of Satyavati's father that Satyavati's son should become the king. That's what Bhishma took a vow, that I will not step on the throne, and I will remain as a celibate. I will never marry. And that's what Satyavati's father finally handed over Satyavati to Shantanu Maharaj. Then it begotten Vichitra Virya and Chitrangadha. So today we read how Chitrangadha died. Right? All of you remember that Gandharva, whose name was also Chitrangadha, he became envious of this Chitrangadha. And that's what they had a fight for years together. And then finally the Satyavati's son Chitrangadha died. And there were no wives of him. Vichitra Virya had a wife by that time, Ambika and Ambalika. But then he also died because of what? Anyone remember? Why? Because of some illness. And that's what finally there is nobody. Shantanu Maharaj also left. So there is nobody to continue now. Ambika and Ambalika are left without any husbands. And there is no son also. But then here today we read Satyavati releases her secret. I mean, what happened in the past, how Parashar sage came and had begotten through her the sage Vyasadeva, which was not present amongst the palace and anybody, because he had immediately left. But then she had given he had given a benediction that anytime in difficulty you call me, I'll be there. So this time then Satyavati releases her information about Vyasadeva, and then Vyasadeva comes, and then finally he begots with Ambika, right? That's what we read. Now let's see what happens further. Now he says that yes, son is going to come, but with he will be very powerful, wise, prosperous. He will have 100 sons. But only problem, because his mother did a mistake, that's why he will be born as a blind. Now what is that mistake, and who was that king, and then how further goes on, then who will rule the kingdom finally, that all we'll discuss in our next story session. Thank you all for joining. Let us end with Vaishnava Pranam. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrindaki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.